Hello, class. So we talked about a picture plane, what a picture plane is, right? Versus the perforated edge in the last video. In this video, I want to talk about how to draw a 2-inch border and the difference between the drawing space within the picture plane and then the border. So in this tutorial, we're going to have a border and a drawing space on the picture plane, but the drawing space is where you're actually going to do your drawing. So first, let's have a look at the ruler I'm using. Okay, if you get a metal edge ruler that has a very sharp edge and cork on the back, this is the most ideal ruler to use for a couple of different reasons. Okay, I'll go into some of those reasons throughout the course, but for now, let's just look at the measurements. Okay, so as you can see, the beginning of the 1-inch stitch mark, the beginning of the first inch does not start at the edge of the ruler. There is a space between the edge of the ruler and where the inch stitch mark starts. Okay, so when you're creating measurements, be aware of that, because frequently students will line up the edge of the ruler and count in 1 inch from there, when that is going to create this discrepancy. It's going to create about an eighth of an inch of discrepancy. Okay, so be aware of that. So for this section of the tutorial, I'm going to draw a 2-inch border, but first I'm going to measure out my inches, my stitch marks, to create that 2-inch border. So I'm lining up, right? Be careful where you line the ruler up. I'm lining up where the beginning of the 1 inch starts on the ruler with the perforated edge, and I'm going to count in 2 inches, and I'm just going to put a mark there. Okay. And down at the bottom of the paper, I'm going to do the same thing where I'm lining up the 1-inch stitch marker with the perforated edge. I'm going to mark off where 2 inches is at. Okay. When I go to draw that line, I'm gonna lightly drag my pencil along the edge of the ruler. Okay, very light. So it's barely noticeable, right? What that does, though, pull it up a little closer so you can see it. What that does is it keeps your border, which is just a guideline, very light, so it doesn't interfere with the drawing. Okay. So you want to get into the habit of anytime you're creating borders or grids or guidelines that will help you delineate your drawing space from your picture plane, to keep your lines nice and light. And so I'll do the same thing on the right edge. Mark 2 inches at the top and then 2 inches at the bottom. And then lightly drag my pencil. So I'm creating a line, but the line isn't super, super dark. Okay. And then you can do the same thing at the top and the bottom. So I'm just still measuring 2 inches in to create a 2-inch border. Okay. So here's my picture plane with a 2-inch border and a inner drawing space. Okay, so when I'm talking about your drawing space, if I ask you to create a border, I'm talking about this space within the border. Okay, the entire page minus the perforated edge is your picture plane, but this space within the border is going to be your drawing space. I used a 2-inch border as an example. Sometimes I'm going to ask you to do 1.5 inches or 1 inch, or sometimes I'm going to ask you to draw a border, but you choose the distance. Okay, just so you can see on the video, I'm going to darken in this border. Okay, so you don't want to draw your border that dark. It's ideal to leave your border nice and light so it doesn't interfere with the drawing. But for purposes of this video, so that you can see the border, I'm creating it dark, okay? So, again, this is your drawing space. This is your border, right? I'm going to ask you to draw a border on everything you do in this class, because when you go to photograph your work, if you line your camera viewfinder up with your border, then you can avoid getting all of this excess stuff in the photograph of your artwork.